No. All right. Hello again, and welcome to another episode of the Fun Fans Podcast. I'm your host, James Dillard. With me, as always, my co-host, Coach Bailey Jackson. How you doing, Bailey?
I'm good. We are back for another Sunday night episode.
Back. No weeks off for the Fun Fans, right? No open date podcast weeks. We have a great show today. Clemson got a break, but we are back at work as always. There were plenty of fun games this weekend for us to discuss and plenty of other Fun Fan football talk to share. But first, the Fun Fans are a proud part of the Fanboys Fangirls Sports Podcasting Network. If you're a true sports fan, the Fanboys Fangirls is perfect for you. Find various nationwide podcasts and other sports media at thefanboys.com and on all forms of social media. The Fun Fans are the official podcast for Clemson fans.
And let's don't forget about Reuben's Food, Sports, Spirits, and Catering, the best wings around with 2 locations in the upstate, right there on Batesville Road in Greer and then Anderson Road in Piedmont. You can find them at ReubensC.com. Reuben's is simply a great place to eat for all sports fans. And also, we'll mention Diamond Edge products in a few minutes.
Yeah, Diamond Edge products. Hey, speaking of Reuben's, though, if you follow their Facebook page, it's been hacked. And it's not funny at all. Like for the Reuben's folks, they're having to fix all that. It's like they can't even get to their own Facebook.
Right.
But whoever's doing it has a sense of humor. Obviously, it's kind of mean and they shouldn't have done it. But just be aware if you hadn't seen Reuben's or you try to go to their Facebook stuff, and both of them. I think the one for both locations. So not fun at all. But we are back on Sunday. We missed Wednesday. Just a quick reason why we missed Wednesday. We've talked about my mother-in-law and her health issues past couple months on here. And she had a kind of a bad spell, I guess you could say, and we'll leave it at that, and had a little bit of a family gathering. And she's doing much better compared to this past Wednesday, but definitely continue to keep her in your thoughts and prayers. So open weeks still requires some work from us, but it's also work for school, for the team. Bailey, what do you think? What do you think Clemson accomplished with a week off this past week?
Hopefully some guys got a little rested and some guys got healthy. I think Antonio Williams is supposed to play at Miami, and he has not been in the lineup in weeks. So that's a deep threat. And
Right.
then, I mean, heck, we had a week off this week, but I worked all week. So I think they got and I read an article today that Riley has a chance now to, step back and see where guys fit in best and, try to throw some different looks out there for people.
Right.
And,
I think you get a time to heal, and you get a week's, I mean, maybe not a full week, it's probably 3 days or so of like preseason type practice where you can, not necessarily prepping for teams down the road, but you're kind of prepping for teams down the road before you can get specific with Miami. I doubt very seriously they spent 2 weeks preparing for Miami. I could be wrong, but they definitely got the rest in. They definitely got some more, some mental work in, and we're excited about that coming up. Speaking of, the next game is prime time in South Beach. Are you going?
No, we're not going, but just to go back for a second, I'll tell you what open weeks mean for the coaches. They probably had to sit there and review every single bit of film they had and critique the whole season and then have a meeting to determine what they need to work on. And then, like you said, start getting ready for the next opponent. But no, I am not going to Miami.
Katie's going though, right? In that one of her games?
Yes. Katie has been cleared. She will be cheering at Miami.
Awesome.
8:00 ACC Network. And hey, I told my son yesterday, I said, Miami could this is kind of a moment Miami could go in the tank or they could come out swinging because they've lost 2 in a row and you never know.
Yeah, I think it can go either way. I agree. And they're just a team you don't know what to expect so far.
Well, they better expect to be blitzed. Because they bring them. It's like backyard football out there.
Yeah, their coach said all the right things when asked about, the practice and the feel and the emotions of the team as they were getting ready to play North Carolina last night in reference to basically a blown win against Georgia Tech the week before. But I'm sorry, those guys, all they heard all week long was about how they bad decisions, the coach and blew the win. And that's even in your subconscious plays a little bit of how much you're trusting in, the guy that's leading your team. So to think it had no effect on anything, that's extremely hard to believe. And then to play very hard and played okay, but I'm gonna tell you, North Carolina looked really, really good. But
That's
to come out
because
with
they are.
yeah, but and to come out with another loss, like you say, now it's 2 in a row. So it could be Clemson covering the spread when they go down there, and
Which is
that's
only 2.5.
well, there you go. They better cover the spread. That's about all it takes to win.
Yeah.
So, and I think they can do it. I mean, Clemson's definitely, if they, once again, we've talked about this all season long, if they play up their potential, we won't lose another game. And we'll talk about the ACC standing here in a second, see where that'll leave us. So it could be a good one, though. Should be a good one. 8 p.m. Katie's going, you're not going. Away games, I'll either be at Rubens or at home with my Rubens, or maybe somewhere with some Rubens wings. So definitely a good weekend to grab your Rubens for the Clemson game. All
James,
right.
I like all your plans include the meal that's accompanying the plans.
That's basically the way I was raised. So yeah, I don't know. So let's look at something real quick before we talk about these games. No, let's talk about the games first. So the ACC games real quick in reference to how the ACC, second spot, two teams going to play for the championship. Duke beat NC State. We need Duke to get some losses. NC State didn't help us not one measly little bit. They scored 3 measly points. What in the world? Duke was playing with their backup quarterback, which he played well, but they couldn't even get points on the board. So that was, I'm sure as a State fan, they're extremely disappointed. I know you never hate to see NC State do poorly, but we needed them to do a little.
They could lose every game from now to the end of time.
Now, Louisville is a team that was riding so high that we needed to get a couple of losses, and they did at Pitt, of all places.
Yeah, 1-4 Pittsburgh beats Louisville.
All right, so that's would have been unpredictable.
That weather looked fun, didn't it?
Oh yeah, it didn't look good at all. We'll talk about that more here in the not fun part of the segment. But that's good for the Tigers. So we'll talk about the standings in a second. And we've already said North Carolina beat Miami. They looked really, really well, really, really good. And North Carolina could be. It keeps changing. We have too many people in our way. That's our problem. However, what do you see this optimistic about this? We got, if you're listening on, we got Florida State's 4-0, North Carolina's 3-0, Duke's 2-0, Louisville's 3-1, Georgia Tech 2-1, Virginia Tech 2-1, and then there's Clemson at 2-2.
Yeah, it's not likely that Clemson makes the ACC championship game. We know that.
Correct.
But yeah, I think you just have to concentrate week at a time, go win the game you're playing and see what happens, because clearly you're talking about Georgia Tech and Virginia Tech are ahead of Clemson, and there's no way they're teams that can compete with Clemson.
That's correct.
Now the other ones, yeah, probably.
Well, obviously Duke, one of those wins is against Clemson. North Carolina looks pretty good, but like you say, Clemson has to take care of their business, and the problem is that we do not control our own destiny.
That's right.
But I will point out, however, that there are only 2 of those teams ahead of Clemson. First of all, we're only halfway through the season, but we're not halfway through the conference schedule. Clemson has played 4 ACC games. Right. Florida State they've played 4 ACC games, and so is Louisville. But look at Duke, because they've only played 2.
Right.
So that gives more opportunity for them to lose. North Carolina has only played 3, and Duke and North Carolina play each other. North Carolina still has to play us and Florida State. So we can eliminate North Carolina, hopefully with the help of Florida State. But then, we still kind of need some help with Duke and Louisville, I guess. So
yeah, you never know. They could just start fumbling around, and Clemson could just keep getting better. So we'll see.
Right. We shall see. So those are the games that were kind of relevant to the Tigers. But there was lots of other fun games this weekend. It was a great weekend. And actually, I'm going to go all the way back to Tuesday night. Tuesday night, the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers versus the Appalachian State Mountaineers. Did you get to see any of that game, Bailey, last Tuesday?
No, but 3 of our football coaches played at App State.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, our head coach was the backup quarterback to a guy named Richie Williams, who's our quarterbacks coach, who was the Southern Conference male athlete of the year in 2005 or 6, and he played in the Canadian Football League. But anyway. Friday night at our game, one of the Coastal assistant coaches, we were talking down on the sideline because, well, they played on Tuesday and they had a weekend off. So it's kind of that would kind of throw a wrench into your schedule because you didn't play last weekend. You couldn't play this weekend. So you have extended breaks both ways.
Yeah. Playing on a Tuesday definitely changes up that kind of messes with 2 weeks worth of your football. But that was a great game. Coastal beat App State with a game-winning field goal at the end. Thursday
Hold
night.
up. Did you see the guy that got – so an offensive lineman for Coastal, somebody threw a beer at him?
Mm-mm. Was that you?
No.
Oh.
No.
Yeah.
So they chuck it at him, and as he's walking off the field, he reaches down, picks it up, and drinks it. It was all over Twitter, Instagram.
There we go. Anyway, yeah, I missed that then. There we go. That's definitely some fun stuff.
There's no way I'm doing that because there's no telling what's in that cup, man. Come on.
Yeah. All right, so we're working our way to Thursday night. There were some good games Thursday night. There's some big games. TV people know what they're doing. They're not putting – you remember there was a time when the Thursday night games – well, first of all, there were no games on Tuesday, and the Thursday night game were like something nobody wanted to watch.
Right.
But not anymore. Thursday night, there were some good games, and there was a huge, fun game, high scoring, full of action, and a Hail Mary to win it at the end with Houston versus West Virginia. I know you were probably pretty busy towards the end of the week on the evening, but did you get a chance to see that one?
No.
That was but you can imagine it's a classic. Throw it in the end zone at the end, so that was pretty cool. So good job to the Cougars on that one. And then Friday night. Now, besides Clover, you brought up Clover's game Friday. You had a big win Friday night, right?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. The Colorado Primetimers played on Friday night at prime time, and they did not have a big win, even though they were up 29 points when I went to bed.
Yep.
At halftime. So they blew that lead, and that's in the not fun category of the games. But we get to Saturday, and I think we might need a little energy boost before we talk about Saturday. There, scan that QR code, go to w.gg, enter codes FUNFANS, promo code FUNFANS for 10% off of your Dubby energy drink. So now that we got plenty of energy, we can finally make it to the Saturday games. All right.
Well,
all right, go ahead. What you got?
Let's go back to Colorado for a second because Saturday Night Live did a skit.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Did you see it?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, people, go out there and watch it. We're not going to talk about it, but it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Let me say this about Colorado, too. I did a little research. You have to win 6 games to be bowl eligible, right?
Right.
All right. They have UCLA left on the road. Mm-hmm. They play Oregon State, who's playing really well. They play Arizona. They should beat Arizona. Then they play previously ranked Washington State and number 12 Utah. So there's an outside chance that the Colorado Buffaloes will be home for Christmas.
Home for Christmas. Wow. After starting so well. Anyway, some other fun games from the weekend. The big matchup. Washington at Oregon. Now, first of all, Pac-12, 3:30.
It was at Washington.
Is at Washington. Oh, did I say that backwards? I'm sorry.
Yeah. At
Washington. All the folks have been talking about how getting for those Pac-12 teams to get that 3:30 time slot was huge. It was huge. I guess it was because I definitely watched the game. And once again, it's definitely different from, not a lot of times those games don't start till 9 or 10 p.m. Eastern time. However, they're usually not both ranked in the top 10 either. So I don't know that it was all that unusual other than the fact of where they're ranked. That was a really good game. In my opinion, I think Washington showed some really good coaching that came out. They jumped up, looked like they had a great game plan, and it was being very well executed. Oregon came back. Washington came out at halftime. Looked like they made some adjustments, and then they had to make some adjustments at the end. But those two quarterbacks were getting after it, and they were doing really, really well. And, it made me think about Clemson and some of Clemson's struggles. A lot of these teams, or actually most of them in the top 10, they have veteran quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that kid at Washington is a senior, if not a junior. I know Bo Nix, he's our age or something, right? At Oregon.
Well, and both of them have played somewhere else previously. So the guy at Washington played at Indiana, and Nix played at Auburn.
Right. So there's some veteran guys doing that stuff. But that was a really fun game to watch. So hopefully you got to watch that one. If you did, that'd be worth going back and watching the highlights. Notre Dame over the University of Southern California. Did they just flop? I'm only pointing out that was a fun game if you're a Notre Dame fan. I'm pointing out it was fun because I've been talking about how good Notre Dame is in the past couple of 3 weeks. They kind of hadn't been doing all that great, but
you can ask Clemson what it was like to play up there at night.
It's not fun.
And it was in November last year, but you come from Southern California where it's 78 degrees all the time and perfect. And you go to South Bend, Indiana, which it was cold and wet, and it just looked like Southern Cal. They started throwing interceptions, and it just snowballed.
Yeah, that went south for them for sure. And then another fun game, and I'm not saying this because our rivals down the road lost. It was a fun game to watch, as a third-party fan, the Florida-South Carolina game, because those two teams were getting after it, scoring some points, moving the ball, making some big defensive plays and stuff. Did you get to watch any of that game?
Yes, I did.
Wait.
I don't watch a ton of other football other than the Tigers and teams that I like, but I like Billy Napier. But what I really like is how Todd Ellis called it when I went to pick up dinner. And when the guy scored the go-ahead touchdown,
yeah,
it was like the air went out of the balloon. And Todd Ellis kind of bothers me, but that's for another podcast, I guess.
Yeah,
but so it was. Look, and then if you need to look up Beamer's press conference, he threw everybody under the bus.
Oh, really?
Players. Well, we called this. We didn't do this. We did this. We didn't do this. All right. I'm sorry. The head coach takes full responsibility for the team. Period. Over.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about the Gamecocks Bowl eligibility chances.
All right. Let's do it.
They're 2-4.
Right.
They play at Missouri,
who just had a big win over Kentucky.
And they're ranked. They were ranked at Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Then they have, Jacksonville State, which, if you don't know this, Jacksonville State is in the American Athletic Conference or something. Coached by Rich Rodriguez, former Clemson offensive coordinator. And they're also the Gamecocks.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not in Jacksonville. Vanderbilt. All right.
Yeah.
Kentucky and Clemson.
Right.
Find me 4 out of those 6.
Uh-huh.
All right, Jacksonville State's 5-2.
So they'll have to pull off an upset. See, Texas A&M, I don't think Texas A&M's going to do stupid stuff like they did last year and let South Carolina beat them. Hopefully Clemson won't do stupid stuff and let South Carolina beat them. They get Vanderbilt, and let's just say they get Jacksonville State. Kentucky, I mean, I don't know, unless they're tanking like we were talking about Miami might do. They're definitely a very solid team. So that's a good.
Now
they might be hanging out with the Colorado Primetimers. Christmas.
Yeah, I'm just telling you.
Well, Clemson's got to get. We're gonna get 2 more, right? We're gonna get them all. We're gonna get 10 more, 8 more,
yeah,
how many more? 6 more.
Come on.
All right. Any other games?
This is good conversation because Clemson's latest bowl projection is the Mayo Bowl.
Yeah.
I can't wait to do our segment on great tasting bowls again because they've added the Pop-Tart Bowl this year. All right,
Where's that one? Where's that one played?
Florida.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so
I saw one projection is we were going to San Diego to play against the Beavers, the DJ Beavers.
And hey, look, shout out to DJ. Okay, here's what DJ needed: a different system, a different type of system, and he's still not taking all the snaps. No. I watched that game yesterday. He doesn't take all the snaps, but he's playing well because he's under center, pro style offense. He made some great throws. I mean, he's a good player, and shout out to him because he did some good stuff at Clemson too.
Yeah. Yeah, when he was relaxed, that's what really just to bring this up all over again, but real quick, one of the disappointment, a lot of things are relative. If I tell you a movie's going to be, oh man, it's the best movie ever, and blah blah blah, it's great, 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 and you go watch it, if it don't live up to the expectations I've given you, then it's not going to seem like such a good movie. When DJ came in relief and threw the way he threw and played the way he played his freshman year, that's what everybody was looking for the next couple of years. And, he was relaxed. I don't think there were any expectations on him, and he was able to play well. And he also had different people to throw it to. And that too. And I just think it was just a different scenario for him. Like you say, he settled into something makes him feel more comfortable in that system. And like you say, that can be a whole nother podcast. So
he's out there with his family. I mean, it's just all that you just don't know. That's why you don't
know.
You don't speculate.
There you go. All right, but it's going to be a fun next few weeks. The second half of the college football season is going to be exciting with the ACC race and really the SEC and all the other conferences. And right around the corner, the committee is going to start making their predictions. We're going to beat them to it. So late October, a week ahead, we're going to have the Fun Fans playoff committee picks. We're going to be a week ahead of them. So I believe that'd be like the week of Halloween or something maybe. So be looking for that when that comes out. And it was definitely a fun weekend. And we got real quick. So on to the fun, not fun segment of the show. The fun. Your team being able to run out the clock for a win. That's a fun thing, right? The best formation in football is what?
Victory formation.
Victory formation. Not fun is your team screwing around and not really running out the clock for the win. This has happened 2 weeks in a row because everybody knows about the Miami thing. And we talked about Florida and South Carolina. Florida gets that interception with 20 seconds left. Right. And they end up having to punt off, kick off, whatever, after taking a 2-point conversion.
Right. So I came in the door as like, so
safety.
I went to grab dinner. And I got home to see the end of it, and I said, okay. And I started figuring out in my head, just run around for a minute. Like, nobody's going to think, like, the defensive line's just going to stand there and put their hands on the offensive line because you're taking a knee. If they run around 3 times, game's over.
Well, that didn't happen. So I know. See, so, and the thing is, that gets you going backwards. I don't know. And he may have done that I got to think about this. Napier may have done it on purpose so he could opt to take the safety and then punt, kick off, whatever, free kick to the Gamecocks. But
if he doesn't take the knee immediately on first down and runs around, he wasted 7 seconds on the next play.
Well, I know,
he could have done that on first down.
The other option, I'm sitting there thinking, you get into victory formation, but then you run the quarterback sneak. The pile creates the time. You drive. You know that.
I'm not doing that either.
I would do that
in that situation.
Well, it's a victory formation. You got 3 backs behind your quarterback. Oh yeah, I do the quarterback sneak. He's running around. What if he fumbles while he's running around?
You got to hold on to it.
Yeah, you got to hold on to it the other way too. You got all these people around.
But if there's no defensive players trying to grab it, you don't drop it. Ask Miami about that.
I know. Well, see, they handed it off and ran like a normal offensive play. Yeah, have y'all never done the victory formation quarterback sneak? it takes forever to push the pile. I mean, it takes them.
I'm worried
you don't
about
lose.
somebody grabbing the ball in that
Well,
situation.
I'm worried about when the guy was running around, and if he would have got hit or just happened to drop the ball, that's a scoop and score for South Carolina.
I'm ready for the team to go victory formation and throw a deep ball to the tight end.
It's coming.
Yeah,
it's coming. So anyway, that's not fun. Just the fact that you get the ball with 20 seconds left and you have to give it to the other team even for 3 seconds, which then they screwed that up. They free kicked to South Carolina. Why didn't they fair catch it in the air, and then they would have had an offensive play? I don't get it. These coaches getting paid. I mean, I don't know if it's coaches or the kids, but they're getting paid too much money to do stupid stuff. But like I say, Napier may have done that on purpose, so he knew he could do that at the end versus whatever. But anyway, because eventually you still may have had to punt. You'd rather free kick it than punt. That's for sure. All right.
Well, I mean, it's not a situation you're in a whole lot.
No, that's true.
But anyway,
another fun situation is streaming TV. Let me show a video real quick. It's very short. Yeah, there's our TikTok. Follow us on TikTok. And it's streaming TV plus the nachos. The nachos were delicious. But all the games going on, the multi-screen that I said was a fun thing that YouTube was doing earlier in the season, they didn't have the games out. It was like only one of the 4 games was anything I wanted to watch. But with satellite, you can't set up all that stuff in the same room like you can. You just bring another device in, stream it through there, and bam, you're rocking and rolling. So streaming TV was a fun thing. Not fun. Empty seats in a huge stadium in a big win over a ranked team. Sorry, Pittsburgh. I know the weather was bad, and I know that they don't have a huge, 80,000 fan following on any given day. But I mean, when they would pan up to the stadium and the home side lower deck seats is just as many empty yellow seats as whatever. Good for those kids for winning that game, even when they with that many empty seats.
I used to say there were a lot of fans dressed like empty bleachers.
Yeah. All right, now this is another fun thing. The layered nachos. This video is a smidge longer, but bear with me. Those things were so, and that was a lot of nachos.
I was getting ready to say. I mean,
I did not eat all of it. I didn't even have it. You saw the plate. That's how many was left in the other video. So, but that was a fun thing to be able to do with an open date and not really paying. I was paying very much attention. I did that at halftime. But hey, if you want the recipe, just reach out to us. We'll hook you up. But that pretty much covers the fun, not fun segment of the weekend. Bailey,
I'll tell you what would not be fun is the Rolaids I would need after eating all those nachos.
Well, I don't know. Anybody would eat all those nachos that have trouble. I didn't even eat half, and then my wife came in later and helped me eat some of them, and we still threw probably about a third of them away. But it was really, really good. Just take whatever you put on, whatever you would want on nachos, and layer it up. The queso I think is the key.
Oh, definitely.
Then the Mexican cheese and extra pot on top. So that was big time. But next weekend is definitely some Reuben's Wings. And we're going to be coming right back this Wednesday, 8:30 Wednesday. We're going to catch up whatever has happened in Tiger Town or the midweek stuff with college football. And I'm skipping over any O's update. I'm assuming you don't want to talk about that, right? Okay.
Let's move on.
Let's just move on. Let's move on to something that is really high quality, and that's our Diamond X products.
That's right. They have mastered the diamond laser engraving process, and they can put almost any design on items such as license plates, yard signs, tumblers, water bottles, and much more for a high quality, forever lasting, custom engraved product. check out Diamond Edge Products at diamondedgeproducts.com. And I can tell you that the Clover High School merchandise came in, and it looks just as good as the officially licensed Clemson stuff that you can get from Diamond Edge Products. So go for it.
That's right.
Talk to Jalen.
Yeah, email Jalen. See, Clover, it's a fundraiser. So any schools or churches or some organization, if you're doing a fundraiser like that, they'll give you a very much reduced rate, and you turn around and sell it for retail as a fundraiser. So that works out really well. So, man, that was awesome. I hope you enjoyed the updates. We like opens. Opens come in handy, helps us rest. And the fun fans are here every week. I think the ACC race is going to be fun. You know, Clemson might nudge back up in there and make it a little exciting. It might make that North Carolina game real exciting at the end of the season. So we're looking forward to that, but we're going to focus and beat Miami this Saturday.
That's right.
Join us here Wednesday night, and then we'll be back next Sunday. Thanks again for checking us out each and every week. Don't forget to click subscribe on the Fun Fans Podcast YouTube channel, as well as your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on all social media and share, please. All archive shows can be found on the fanboys.com website. On behalf of the Fun Fans Podcast, J Thrill Entertainment, the Fanboys Fangirls Podcast Network, and Bailey Jackson.
Go Tigers.